Audition resumes. You're still under oath, Mr. Blou. Who's going to cross-examine on behalf of the families?
I am, Chair.
Please commence.
Morning, Mr. Blou.
Morning,
My name
ma'am.
is Tulana Mutwenya, and I represent the families of the 3 strikers that were killed on the 13th and the 33 of the 34 that were killed on the 16th.
Yes,
And
Chairperson.
I will be cross-examining on their behalf. Mr. Blou, if we can start off with the events of the 11th of August, just to deal with the Lonmin Security Management meeting. If we can just have exhibit quadruple E19 on the screen, please. That's the logbook. And go to the 11th of August and the entry for 1400 hours. Yeah, there we go. Now you see there it says brief by HB and D. Burtis. I think from the evidence that you've already given and through the cross-examination we can establish that HB would be referring to you, Henry Blou,
Correct, Chairperson.
and D. Burtis would be referring to Dirk Burtis.
Yes.
Now there seemed to be a list of people who were present at the meeting. Can you just, it lists SABC, it lists yourself and Dirk Burtis and a person Lebo and Ali.
Yes.
Now, you were together with Mr. Burtis during this meeting, during this briefing.
That is correct.
Okay. And you conducted the briefing.
Yes, Chairperson.
Okay. Now, I see that SABC was present. Who was representing SABC at that meeting?
Chairperson, Captain Governor of SABC was there.
Was Captain Governor the only person representing SABC?
Chairperson, that is what I remember at this stage.
Okay. And then Lebo and Ali, who are they? And so it's 2 questions. Who is Lebo and who is Ali?
Chairperson, Lebu is Lebugang Ranto. Miss Lebugang is a security superintendent working for Lonmin Platinum.
And Ali?
then Ali referred to there would have been Ali Chamberlain. Mr. Chamberlain works for the Emergency and Disaster Management, which is adjoined to Mining Security for Lonmin Platinum.
So there was no one that was representing NUM at that meeting?
Chairperson, if it, as it appears there, I do not remember seeing them, but I know there were meetings with NUM. I do not know whether it was maybe another meeting.
Because the difficulty that I'm having, I'm just trying to clarify, is that Mr. Burtis testified about this briefing and he testified that the NUM was present at this meeting, this 1400 meeting.
Right.
I can, just for the record, refer to the transcript references. It's day 265 and it's page 33344, lines 4 to 17, and day 265, the transcript, page number 33401. So that's why I'm just trying to clarify, and that would be lines 8 to 17. So that's why I'm just trying to clarify if anyone from NUM was there
That is
you
correct.
could recall.
Some support for the suggestion that NUM was there is to be seen in the report, in the note itself, the entry. It says, management will, having said management will discuss with AMCO to assist, I think that should be with a KPL solution, I think, or with the KPL situation. I'm not quite sure what that entry actually means. Then goes on, NUM feels SAPS and mine security not doing enough. So it does seem as if someone from NUM may well have been there to express NUM's attitude, which was that the police and the mine security weren't doing enough. So would you agree with that?
Chair, sorry, may I interrupt? Just to put a full picture, if one looks at the entry immediately above, management will discuss with AMCU, there's the entry, management had a meeting with NUM to assist.
So at the time of the
Yes.
Yes, my microphone's on. The entry, NUM feels SAPS and mine security not doing enough is ambiguous. I put it tentatively when I asked the question. It could either mean someone from NUM was there saying what NUM's attitude was. Alternatively, it could be that a report was being made on what NUM had said, or the NUM representatives had said, at the meeting referred to 2 lines above. But anyway, let's hear what the witness has to say about it.
Chairperson, if one looks at that particular entry from 1400, it records 1400, the whole of it, and issues that were discussed at that meeting. So it does appear that NUM was present, Chairperson.
Okay. Mr. Blou, so the content of the meeting was this, that a mob was noted and information was that they wanted to torch the NUM officers and Lonmin combi users. There was somewhat a faction between 2 groups, gunshot, and 2 people were injured. Management had a meeting with NUM to assist diffuse the situation, and then another line, 1 line down, it says NUM feels SAPS and mine security not doing enough. So do you confirm that that was the content of the meeting?
Yes, Chairperson.
Now, Mr. Blou, from what you said NUM was present, but in any event, it also seems clear that at the debriefing, the NUM had already been informed about the incident of the morning of the 11th. Is that correct?
Yes, Chairperson.
Now, and they were also aware that 2 people had been injured.
That is correct,
in that
Chairperson.
incident. So also, SAPS was also informed at that meeting, when that meeting took place, that the confrontation had happened and between 2 faction groups and that 2 people were shot and injured.
Indeed,
Do you agree with that?
Chairperson. Yes.
So by 1400 hours on the 11th of August, both NUM and SAPS had been informed about the confrontation and the fact that 2 people were shot and injured on the 11th of August. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chairperson.
Now, Mr. Blou, I want us to move on to another issue. And Chairperson, I don't know if this would be an opportune moment to add another exhibit.
Shouldn't we do the housekeeping now and mark all your exhibits?
We should, Chair. I think it would be
Then
better.
we don't have to interrupt every now and
I
again.
think it
How
would
many
be better.
exhibits have you got?
3, Chair.
How many?
3.
3.
Well, it's only, sorry, Chair, it's actually only 2, which are new. So it's the
So
security.
wait long enough, it'll be only 1. So it will be quadruple R 4 and 5, will it?
So
Right,
the
Ms. Pillay?
security
No,
case.
Let's just check. Let's get our permission.
Okay.
Ms. Pillay, is it right?
That's correct, Chair.
So what is quadruple R4?
It's the security casebook entry number.
That was in your list of documents, I remember.
Yes, Chair.
Casebook entry number?
55/08 of 2012.
Yes. All right, that's quadruple R4. I've noted that. And what is quadruple R5?
And quadruple R5 would be the amended Mati post-mortem report.
It was also in your list of documents. Yes,
Yes,
I've
Chair.
marked that. I've written that in my book. Quadruple R5 amended Marty post-mortem report.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Blou, if we can just deal with the security casebook, if we can have that put up on the screen. So, Mr. Blou, it would be correct that a Lonmin security casebook is opened whenever an incident of a Lonmin employee dying of unnatural causes such as murder.
Yes, Chairperson.
Okay. And this would be an example of a casebook, correct?
That is correct.
Now, this is a casebook relating to the 13th of August, because I see it says date attending to the complaint. Would that be correct?
That is correct.
And if you look at the bottom of the first page of this casebook, you will see there that it's written the CAS number 116 of 08 of 2012. You see that?
Correct, Chairperson.
Now, that was the case docket that was opened in relation to Mr. Mati, who was killed on the 13th of August. So do you accept that?
Yes, Chair.
Right. So this Lonmin casebook clearly refers to the case of Mr. Mati. Would that be correct?
Yes, Chair.
Now, if we go to point 3.1, paragraph 3.1, we'll see that the full names there are recorded for Obet, and the surname would be Meko. So that would be the person who made the statement.
And went out to investigate. That is correct.
Thank you.
He's the complainant. His occupation is given in 3.4 as being investigating officer, and 3.5 indicates that he works for Lonmin.
Yes, Chair. And if we go to page 2 of the report, we will see there that Mr. Meko states that he works under the leadership of Mr. Henry Blou. So that would be you.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. And as the Chair referred, he is an investigator within the Lonmin Security Division, correct?
That is correct.
Yes. Now, how would an investigator go about investigating such an incident? Would they inspect the scene? Would they interview witnesses? How would they go about investigating such an incident?
Yes. They would go and inspect the scene. They would interview people like witnesses. If there's a complainant identified, they will interview them. And they will always act as subordinate to the SABC. Whenever it is a SABC case, they will seek for permission in order to go into that crime scene and the like. They will collect exhibits and so on.
Okay. Now, we saw that the CAS number was recorded on the front page, and he would certainly have interviewed the police who were working on this matter.
Yes.
Right. So he would have essentially obtained the version of the police.
That is correct.
Right. Now, if we look at paragraph 2.0, we have actually seen that it refers to the incident of the 13th of August. Now, if we look on the first page, if we look at paragraph 2.1, it says the offense is murder. You see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Now, if we look at page 2 and paragraph 4.
Sorry, before we go, the operator is going a little bit too quickly. I'd like to see the entry at the foot of the 2.5, description of the offence. The unknown black male ran towards the Group 5 house and he died as a result of gunshots. And somewhere else it says that the area was the field next to the ZCC Church Marikana. So it appears that in that informal settlement, one of those shacks or houses must be assigned as Christian Church building. And what's said here is that information obviously that the investigator had was he ran towards a house in that informal settlement and died then as a result of gunshots. So that's all I wanted to see. Sorry, I haven't got the document in front of me. We can now go on to the page that you want to refer to.
Yes, if we go to page 2 and paragraph 4, I'd say. I'm just trying to find the right paragraph. It says it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the seventh line, it reads, the unknown black male ran towards Group 5 house and fell down, and he was bleeding. As he was bleeding.
The deceased was one of the people who are on strike. It is believed that the deceased is one of the, looks like, suspects who killed the SAPS policeman. That's why he was shot. And he tried to run away with R5 rifle, which is still missing. No arrest made.
Thank you, Chair. Now, my emphasis of what the Chair just read was that it says the suspect who killed, it says it is believed that the deceased is one of the suspects who killed the SAPS policeman. That's why he was shot, and he tried to run away with the R5 rifle. You see that on the statement?
I see that, Chairperson, yes.
Now, from this, we can conclude that Mr. Meko recorded here that he was shot by the police officers, correct?
Correct, that's what I note.
Thank you. And surely this information would have come from the police officers who were involved at the scene, correct?
I could imagine so, yes, Chair.
Now, then on the next page, which is page 3, it says, the victim was found bleeding from both legs next to the house at Group 5. He died as a result of gunshots. You see that?
I see that, Chair.
So the conclusion of the Lonmin investigation into Mr. Marty's death is that Mr. Marty died from gunshot wounds, correct?
I see that, yes, Chair.
Now, this conclusion is also supported and substantiated by the post-mortem report. And Chair, that would be quadruple R5. If we could turn to the post-mortem report.
Have we been furnished with a copy of this PM report? I know Mr. Wesley put it on record, sorry, Mr. Chaskelson put it on record that the cause of death was now gunshot wounds, but we haven't seen that report as yet.
My instructions are that it was actually given to you, Commissioners, beforehand, last week. It was actually furnished to you.
I must confess, I think I have seen it. Contents are not new to me. You've obviously been given a copy of that's commentary. No, we've found it. We have it. What led to the confusion is it's not headed PM report, it's actually headed commentary. And in fact, it appears to be a report by Dr. Naidu,
Yes, Chair.
commenting on the autopsy photographs and the post-mortem report. It's not actually a post-mortem report, it's as it were, a supplementary report on what's seen at the post-mortem and is visible from the photographs.
Yes, Chair.
Anyway, it's all been sorted out, so we can carry on.
Thank you. I just wanted us to go to page 2 of the commentary there, and at paragraph 9, which relates to the conclusions. For our purposes, I just wanted us to deal with the conclusions. And Mr. Naidu records here, he says, the features are, in my opinion, confidently that of a gunshot wound through the thigh and not a stab wound. Under B, he says, the photographs alone do not allow for a confident distinction between entry and exit wounds. You see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Thank you. On that point, that's all that I needed your assistance with, Mr. Blou. And then just on another point, if we can turn to your statement dated the 3rd of July, that is Exhibit quadruple R 1.3. Can we have quadruple R? Thank you. quadruple R 1.3. And if we can turn to paragraph 40. And if we can just start with the second sentence, where you say, suddenly a group from the crowd attacked 2 police officers. I witnessed both attacks from a distance and saw how one of the police officers was hacked to death. The police officers then opened fire with what I believed was tear gas and stun grenades. I do not know if they used other live ammunition. As the crowd dispersed, I noticed a dead police officer and a dead protester. Now, Mr. Blou, I'd like to refer you to Exhibit T4.
Chairperson, may I just ask, please?
Yes.
I heard that I do not know if they used other live ammunition, but I read there, I do not know if they used other ammunition.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I just heard the word live being put in there when I do not see it.
Okay.
Okay.
It might be my fault. And then if we can start at 6:13.
Before we look at that, can I just ask a question flowing from the previous exchange? Paragraph 40 of the statement you referred to concludes by saying this, which is the middle of the paragraph actually. As the crowd dispersed, I noticed a dead police officer and a dead protester.
Yes.
Another police officer was injured and airlifted to hospital, and then you go on about that. Now, so you saw effectively 2 dead people as the crowd dispersed. One was the policeman, who I think was Maneni, if my memory serves me correctly. And the spot was pointed out to us in inspection. It's in the field, as it were.
Correct, Chairperson.
Now, the second deceased person you saw, whom you describe as a dead protester,
Yes.
was that the body of the Mr. Marty, who was found in front of a shack in that settlement, which I see is described as the Group 5 settlement? Was that the other body you saw, or did you see a body somewhere in the field?
I also saw a body somewhere in the field, Chairperson, not in the informal settlement.
I see. So, in other words, the dead protester you're talking about here is not Mr. Marty.
It's not.
Mr. Marty's body was apparently, you remember we went to inspection, but we did twice.
Yes.
Mr. Marty's body was found in front of one of the houses
Yes.
in that little settlement. Is that settlement known as Group 5?
It's known as Group 5.
Is that where contract labourers who work for Group 5, who are in turn subcontractors for Lonmin, are housed?
And some for Lonmin, yes, they're housed there, yes.
I see, thank you.
Yes, Chairperson.
Sorry to have interrupted you, but I wanted clarity on that before you move on to
Thank you, Chair.
the next point.
Thank you. If we can start at 6:13 and play it until 6:51.
They believe the official majority union, the National Union of Mine Workers,
Sorry.
are in...
This is not the correct one. I need volume VTS _01_2.
Looks like the senior of the railway. Where do you want to start?
If we can start at
6:13. Well, we've got 6:13.
6:13, yes. Up to 6:51.
They don't seem to pose any threat. Suddenly, you see tear gas being fired, one of the Nyalas, some shots fired, they get ignored. They just keep going. And there's a line of police jogging alongside them on the one side, there's armored vehicles. Keeps going. Another volley of shots and tear gas, and the miners crack and break.
Stop this. As the people are beginning to run, do you agree that from what we see, people start running around after the stun grenades have been thrown and exploded? It's only then that people start running around.
Correct, Chairperson. None of the commanders...
We can stop it there. Now, Mr. Blou, just to deal with your statement, from this video that we've just played, you saw that the strikers were walking along in the field until the stun grenade was thrown by the police. And then it was then that the confrontation happened between the strikers and the police.
Yes, Chairperson.
Whereas, and in the video as well, we saw Major General Mpembe, who was the operational commander of the operation on the 13th, who conceded that that's the sequence of events.
Yes.
That it was the stun grenade and the tear gas, and then the confrontation happened afterwards.
That is correct.
That's what Colonel Vermaak said as well.
Yes, and that's correct, Chair. So, whereas in your statement, your sequence of events was the other way around, where you said that the strikers attacked, and then the police officers opened fire with the tear gas and stun grenades. So, do you see that you were incorrect in your sequence of events, as recorded in your statement?
Chairperson, can I just look
at paragraph 40?
Looking at that, let's get everything in perspective. I understand you weren't keen to be close to the scene of the action at the time. Is that right?
Correct.
You, in fact, didn't. It was a police operation. You were there simply because you shown them where to go.
Excellent.
Right. And you, when these events happened, I think you told us before that you were inside a vehicle. Is that right? Was it an Inyala?
In a Inyala.
Where was that Inyala? Because there were quite a number of Inyalas on the scene.
Yes.
The Inyala in which you were, where was that?
It was quite a distance more towards the railway line as you had turned off into the dirt road towards the informal settlement.
Yeah, the way it worked, there was a road, as I remember it, parallel to the railway line. And then at one point there was another gravel road which was
perpendicular.
Yeah, no, vertical really.
So
to the road parallel with the railway line.
Yes.
And that ran along the side of part of the informal settlement.
That is correct.
And General Mpembe was afraid that there might be difficulties there, so he ordered, as the strikers moved off towards the Kopi,
yes,
he ordered the Inyalas to go along that road to make sure that no one deviated into the settlement and caused
That is
trouble.
correct.
That's
That
right.
is correct. Yes, Chair.
And so at the time of the action, as you've described,
yes,
you were in an Inyala which hadn't moved down that road next to the settlement. You were in an Inyala still near the railway line. Is that correct?
It had just turned from the railway line onto that road.
Yeah, it was effectively still close to the railway line.
That is correct,
yeah.
yes.
So you were quite far from what one can call the action.
Indeed.
So your opportunity to observe what was happening was very limited.
It was, Chairperson.
Now, Captain Millman was also there.
Inside in the
Was she in the same vehicle with you?
Yes.
I see. So, and she'd actually, according to the evidence we have, I'm not sure the evidence, the information we have, there was an objection to her presence, and so she went away from the scene, as it were, and went into the Inyala. Is that right?
That's correct.
So she was trying to be away from the action, and you were effectively with her.
Exactly.
So you're not really in a good position to tell us what happened, are you?
In correct sequence, I'm not, Chairperson, no.
And so do you accept that what's been put to you, that your chronology of what came first and what came second is incorrect in the light of what we've seen and what General Mpembe conceded and Colonel Vermaak said?
I accept, Chairperson.
So it's not true to say that suddenly a group from the crowd attacked two police officers and thereafter the police opened fire with tear gas and stun grenades. The sequence is the other way around.
I accept, Chairperson.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I see that Mr. Wesley is indicating that our time is up. Chair, if we can just have a 2-minute adjournment so I can approach you and the other commissioners. There is some point that if we can raise with Mr. Blou, then we wouldn't need to cross-examine Mr. Sinclair.
Is it the point that you...
It's a small point.
Yes, is it the point that you don't want to disclose in front of Mr. Blou?
Yes, Chair.
I see.
We want to cross-examine Mr. Blou on, so if
You said,
we're
I understand.
allowed to.
No, you and your colleague did tell me that you would hope to be able to possibly lengthen your cross-examination with this witness beyond the allotted time, but the trade-off would be you would
We can carry on, Chair.
shorten your cross-examination of Mr. Sinclair.
Yes.
But is it something that you can tell us in
We can-
open chamber? Or?
No, we can carry on if it's already an exhibit. So if we can just put it
Well,
to Mr.
at the
Blou.
cost of taking 2 minutes off your cross-examination time with Mr. Sinclair, I'll allow you to ask the question.
Thank you, Chair. Can we have exhibit W2, please, on the screen? It's a new screenshot from exhibit W2. What?
It's already an exhibit, is it? What we're now going to see.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Oh, W2. I see.
So, Chair, the video is an exhibit, but this is a screenshot of the video. So I think this we might have
I
to
haven't
make an
seen this
exhibit.
before. Let's make this an exhibit. Is this the exhibit that you were thinking of using and decided to withdraw? Let's allow you to reverse that decision. Quadruple R6 is a screenshot of exhibit W2 at 01:17.
Mr. Blou, that vehicle there, I just want you to, with the light on top, I just want you to confirm for me whether that's a Lonmin security vehicle.
Because there are two vehicles on the
On the right of the screen, just by where the three
the
gentlemen are
one
standing.
which is has the lower portion,
yellow?
which is yellow.
Yeah, indeed, Chair. And a light on top.
Yes.
That's a Lonmin security vehicle.
No, it is not.
It's not a Lonmin.
It's a Lonmin rescue vehicle, Chairperson.
I mean, what vehicle?
Rescue.
Rescue vehicle.
Yes.
So it belongs to Lonmin. It's one of the Lonmin
One
vehicles.
He's conceded that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, do the security officials ever use that vehicle?
No, Chairperson.
No.
It's used by rescue people.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
That's your
That-
2 minute,
that
that's your
concludes
2 minute point.
That is my 2
All
minute
right.
point, Chair.
Mr. Wesley, you'll take the 2 minutes off the Sinclair time. That's the end of your cross-examination.
That concludes our
Right.
cross-examination. Thank you, Chair.
I think there's no other cross-examiners there. So re-examination, Mr. Franz?
Mr. Wesley reserved his right to ask
Oh,
the
you're quite
question.
right. Your memory is better than mine. Mr. Wesley, do you want to exercise your
Chair,
reserved right?
Yes, it's just one very, very small aspect. Could we have quadruple E19 up on the... Please, Craig. Could we go to the 12th of August at 700 hours 40? Mr. Blou, if you could just confirm something for me. You see there that there's an inscription. It's under 732. There's 5 lines below. At the meeting at 740, what's recorded is Tony-Murray and Roberts. Do you see that?
Yes, Chairperson.
And then if you go down, you see the 6th line from the bottom next to 700 hours 40. The following is recorded. Tony reports all in order and communique sent out through HC to sensitize workers on the strike situation. You see that?
I see that, Chairperson.
Tony, do you know what his surname is?
I don't know now, no, sir.
Okay. But you confirm that report there that Tony would have made that he was going, that a communique was going to be sent out through HC to sensitize workers.
Indeed,
Do
Chairperson.
you recall that happening?
I don't recall it happening. I know he was from Murray and Roberts, Chair.
Okay.
Who's HC?
Human capital. It's human
I see,
resources.
it's a department of it.
Yes,
Now, Murray and Roberts were the contractors at K4, were they?
that is correct.
So what Tony, the semi-anonymous Tony, was doing was he was going to, a communique was going to be sent out through human capital to sensitize workers, that's the workers at K4,
That is correct.
including Mr. Mabebe,
That is workers at K4 for Marion Roberts. Yes.
on the strike situation. Now, what
Yes.
exactly was this communique going to say? Did you ever see the communique? Do you know what it
No,
was?
I never saw it, Chairperson. But we were discussing the situation, and we wanted to get as many people involved as possible, so they can sensitize their people in return.
What does sensitize mean? You mean bring them up to speed to know what's going on? Or
Inform, yes, Chair.
it's really inform. It's a malapropism for reform, I take it.
Yes.
So at that stage, it was foreseen that K4 shaft might be a trouble spot.
Probably, Commissioner, or even just to ensure that we leave nobody out, that they are not knowing about the situation.
No, you wouldn't sensitize people and alarm them unnecessarily, would you? So you use the word sensitize,
Yes.
which I don't think is right. But anyway, you wouldn't do that unnecessarily to alarm them. So there must have been, as Advocate Hemrith puts to you, there must have been foresight that there might be trouble at K4. It follows, isn't it?
Maybe, Chairperson.
Sorry?
I think
No, maybe.
Yeah.
We're talking about a foresight of something as a possibility.
Yes.
And it looks as if it was foreseen that there might be trouble at K4, hence the need to inform the workers as to what was going on, or might happen. Is that right?
I don't
Or am I misreading?
think so, Chairperson.
What
No,
does it
I
mean
don't
then?
think so.
What does it mean then?
We wanted to inform everybody at every shaft that the situation is, there's a strike situation, and then we wanted to inform all contractors working for Lonmin Platinum.
Why?
We wanted them to know from us as security and emergency disaster management.
Well, there are other references to incidents pertaining to K4
Yes,
on
Commissioner.
this.
Yes.
So you can hardly say that it was not foreseen that that it might be a trouble spot. Because there's mention in this exhibit of a march towards K4.
Yes.
So do you want to reconsider your answer in the light of that?
Commissioner, what I remember at that stage, at those meetings, our strategy has always been, before this strike, post this strike, that everybody should be informed. That is why we had a representative from that shaft.
Informed to be careful that there might be trouble,
Alert and careful that there might be trouble, yes.
and therefore steps needed to be taken to protect those points.
Yes.
It's simpler than that, isn't it? The fact is that the RDOs wanted to stop production.
Yes.
They didn't want any work done.
Yes.
They wanted a total strike. Isn't
Yes.
that right? There was no reason to believe that they had a selective approach, that they only wanted to strike at some shafts and not others. Is that right?
That's right, Chairperson.
So therefore, the logic of the situation is that one would expect that they would also want a strike at K4.
Yes, Chairperson.
And if they wanted a strike at K4, the probability was, not just the possibility, the probability was that they would do something about it to make sure that there was a strike at K4.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that, isn't it? And if those were the facts that were not known afterwards, but known at the time, then it must have been apparent that there might well be trouble at K4 and something's got to be done about it to prevent it and to protect the people who were there. Isn't that correct?
That's correct,
Yeah,
Chairperson.
thank you.
No, thank you, Chair.
I interrupted you.
No, that's
Forgive me.
covered everything which I wanted
Oh,
to
I'm
cover.
sorry. I stole your thunder. Forgive me.
No problem, Chair.
All right. Re-examination, Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Blou, before the attack on Lonmin Security on Sunday, the 12th of August 2012, had you received any reports of the strikers attacking or threatening to attack Lonmin Security?
Chairperson, no.
Had you received reports about the strikers intimidating and threatening non-striking workers?
Chairperson, yes, on the Friday evening, the 10th, intimidation, yes.
You also...
Pointing out another point.
I am, thank you, Mr.
I was going to ask this later, but I suppose in fairness to you, I should ask it now, so you can deal with it. There's something that puzzles me about your statement, and I must put it to you. In your statement of the 17th October 2012, which is the one closest to the events,
Yes.
you said this in paragraph 23. Under the heading Saturday 11th August. On Saturday 11 August 2012, I reported for duty at 7:30, and you go on to say how you went to the EDM to Beachville College. And you say, I received reports of concerns which were raised by Midbank Bus Service, which provides internal bus service at Lonmin Mine, about the security of their buses and bus drivers. Now comes the sentence that interests me. We had advised Midbank Bus Services that the situation would be monitored, and also that there were no reported incidents from the previous night. That's the end of the quotation. Now, one of the points that interests us, and is obviously important for our investigations, is whether there was intimidation on the Friday night, Saturday morning. And I think you've said there was. And there's some evidence about it. But that being so, I don't understand what the statement, there were no reported incidents from the previous night, means in a context where it's Lonmin's case that there was intimidation. Now, was there, wasn't there? Were there reported incidents the previous night or weren't there? What's going on?
Chairperson, this has reference to the buses. Prior to this event, we had had buses being burnt and we had had drivers being intimidated. So we advised them here that there were no incidents towards them as Midbank.
So it's incomplete, the statement. It should say there were no reported incidents involving the buses and bus drivers for the previous night. Is that your explanation?
Yes.
I see. Thank you. Advocate Hemworth wants to ask a question. We think, in fairness to you, Mr. Vanous, we should ask it now so you can deal with it if you want to in the rest of your re-examination.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Mr. Blou, this is in the ICAM file. It's Exhibit R 2.4, the Vonderkorp hostel incident. Page 2 of that. Do you have it in front of you? The second column from the left, dated 11 August 2012, the Saturday, which reads, the call was made to the shaft mine overseer of K4 shaft by a Lonmin employee. Below that, to inform him on an attack that will be carried out on K4 shaft on Sunday night. The employees were informed about the attack by people planning the attack. What does that refer to you, and what information do you have about that?
Commissioner, for me, it refers to an employee telephoning into K4 shaft and forewarning them that there's a planned attack. However, personally, I was not aware of a planned attack at K4 shaft before it occurred.
Somebody was then, because the person to whom this report was made knew about it.
Yes.
And obviously the purpose of informing that person was so that something could be done about it.
Yeah, correct.
And nothing was done about it.
Correct. Chairperson, the question we must, not the question, we should find out whether that person then alerted the security people, the executives, and the like.
You know, the section above the paragraph that was read reads, a call was made to the shaft mine overseer of K4 shaft.
Correct.
Now, the ICAM people picked that up, obviously. So
Correct.
that was investigated.
Yes.
And then lower down it says the employee had a good relationship with the mine overseer as they worked together previously.
Yes.
So, then in the next column, could you perhaps have that lower a little bit so we can see that thing? No, lower. That goes on to say the mine overseer confirmed with the employee that he informed security about the planned attack, to alert security in time about the planned attack, for security to be prepared for the possible attack. And then the next column says, presumably this is where the information comes from, a security employee, that's one of your people, I take it, went undercover and attended the gathering of people in the open field next to the Vonderkorp Stadium.
Yes.
To get intelligence on what was happening. The security did not know what was happening. The security had a lack of intelligence in the field.
Yes.
Now, what does all that mean? This relates to the security department, to information being conveyed to them.
Yes.
In order, as it is put, for security to be prepared for the possible attack. You conceded nothing was done.
Correct.
To ward off the attack. So it looks like a serious breach of security, a failure to react to information which prima facie appears to have been reliable, or certainly reliable enough to be taken seriously. Would you agree with that?
100%, Chairperson.
So what's your explanation?
The security employee that went undercover, I know exactly about that. As to the security persons that were informed beforehand, I do not know about that, Chairperson. It is a serious breach of security for whoever in security was informed, and later there was an attack.
That investigated. I mean, this is not something that you know about, you heard about for the first time. The ICAM people were onto it. So this, what you concede to be a serious breach of security, was that do you know whether that was investigated?
I don't know, Chairperson.
Wouldn't it, if it had been investigated, would it not have been communicated to you as the head of security that there was this serious breach that was being investigated? They wouldn't have done it behind your back and not told you, would they?
I'm afraid it wasn't done, Chairperson. It should have been done.
So we've got two serious matters now. The first is a breach of security, a serious breach, which actually can almost be related to the death of Mr. Mabebe. And then it's another serious omission, a failure to follow it up when the ICAM people discovered these facts which are set out here.
Yes.
And you don't know why that wasn't followed up either.
I do not know, Chairperson.
Wasn't it your responsibility as the head of security when this was brought to your attention to ensure that the matter was fully investigated, or was that the responsibility of somebody else?
I only saw the ICAM report in 2014, Chairperson. Sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, had the trail gone cold by then? Was it too late to investigate?
Chairperson, when the ICAM was conducted, I wasn't aware about the contents of what was happening. I was aware that there was an ICAM, but that never was brought under my attention.
To whose attention would the results of the ICAM investigation have been brought?
It would have been brought to the attention of Mr. Graham Sinclair and Mr. Frank Rasabello.
I see. Well, Mr. Sinclair is coming next, so perhaps someone may make a note and ask him about it. You want to ask him about it? This ICAM report is full of things that I want to put to you. The next column goes on about, well, let's start with the column beginning, a security employee went undercover. That reads, a security employee went undercover, attended the gathering of people in the open field next to the Vonderkorp Stadium to get intelligence on what was happening. The security didn't know what was happening. The security had a lack of intelligence in the field. The leaders of the mass of people requested that the Sangoma that helped Impala employees assist the mass gathered, to let the people attending do a ritual to be fearless. They believed that the bullets fired at them will turn into water and firearms will not be able to shoot bullets. The mass wanted to retaliate. The mass believed that 2 of their members were killed during an attempt, that should be an attempt, I take it, earlier the day to torture the NUM officers. They were preparing for war. The mass of people moved to the Kopi. It was more private for what they have planned. There is no women, it should be R, I suppose, no women and children around to witness what was happening. The undercover security officer decided to leave the mass of people gathered to the Kopi. It was dark and his life was in danger. The undercover security officer reported to the JOC team and informed them of the ritual and the retaliation planned. He needed to inform them of the mass that will not sleep that night. The mass wanted to plan what they will be doing in retaliation. They were planning for war. Now, according to this, all this information was conveyed, reported to the JOC team. Now, what was done about it? Was it reported to you, by the way?
Chairperson, it was reported. I remember speaking to the person that was at the copy. I can put on record that he has never informed me specifically about K4 shaft.
Well, never mind we reported about K4 shaft, but we've already gone over that.
Yes.
Let's not revisit that. You accept that the RDOs wanted a general strike over the whole of Lonmin, didn't they?
Yes.
It wouldn't have suited their purpose if they had a partial strike, or selective strike, one shaft on, one shaft off.
Yes.
So obviously K4 was in their vizier, isn't that right?
Yes.
Right. So, but this was the information that you people had.
Yes.
When was that? On the Saturday night?
K4 incident happened on
No,
Sunday.
I know it was the Sunday night. Sorry, my fault. I asked the question ambiguously. Forgive me. This information that we've heard about now from the ICAM report, was that available to the people in the JOC on the Saturday night?
Chairperson, he reported to the JOC when he returned.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what day this was.
I see. It looks like the Saturday night, doesn't it? Because obviously the K9 thing hasn't happened yet. The K4 thing hadn't. K9 was something else. We won't go there now. The K4 attack hadn't happened yet. Right?
Yes.
So, and when he talks about the people aren't going to sleep that night, he's clearly talking about something that's going to happen the night before. It looks that it's the Saturday, isn't it?
The way I read it, it's a Sunday, but I'm not sure. I read it that they won't sleep this evening, which is Sunday. But surely we should know what day this was based on the ICAM.
Yes, it says the 11th.
It's headed the 11th.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's not go there. It's obviously the Saturday night.
All right.
Now, the point of the matter is that the people in the JOC knew on the Saturday night, well, perhaps knew is an unfortunate word, because some people may deny the information is correct. But what the people on the Saturday night knew was the information that had been received.
Yes.
Which they had to take seriously.
Yes.
Right. And they don't seem to have taken it seriously. What did they do?
They concentrated for what we believed, that the retaliation would be directed towards the Lonmin property from historical events that we witnessed. And those are the areas that we covered.
Yeah, but they wanted to retaliate against what they believed was the death of their colleagues.
Yes.
And they believed, I take it, that they'd been killed by NUM people.
Yes.
Because the shots had been fired by NUM people
That is
in the
correct.
vicinity of the NUM office. So you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to know that it was possible, if not probable, that the target for the retaliation might well be the NUM office. Is that right?
No, it's not right, Chairperson.
Why not?
There are many NUM offices at the time at Lonmin Platz. There's not just one NUM
No,
office.
but the locus, the place at which the killing, what they thought were killings had taken place was
Yes.
the office in question, was it not?
Yes, Chair.
Anyway, but what I want to know is what exactly did the people at the JOC do, which I take it included you?
Yes.
What did you do? You got this information, quite
Yes.
alarming information,
Yes.
talking about planning for war, right?
Yes.
So this is a serious matter, very, very serious matter.
That is correct.
So what did you do about it?
We deployed our resources as best we could. We also ensured that we informed the SEPs about information we had at our disposal.
Did you convey this information to the police? Say, this is all the information we've got. These people are planning for war. They're planning to act in retaliation for what they consider to be the deaths of their colleagues? Did you tell that to the police, that they've sent for a Sangoma to make them fearless and turn the bullets that are going to be fired at them into water and render the firearms incapable of shooting bullets, to use the words of the report? Was all that conveyed to the police?
Chairperson, yes. Some of the police members had informed us that they had witnessed this ritual themselves in the afternoon at the copy.
But if you had believed that the retaliation or the attack would be against Lonmin structures or key points, then that is what you would have communicated to the police, not that there would be a possible attack on the NUM officers.
Correct.
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez, I think it's only fair that we should put those points that were worrying us to the witness now to enable you to deal with them if you consider it appropriate in re-examination.
Mr. Chairperson, I wonder if I could ask if we could take the first comfort break now, just to give me 5 minutes to consider the points. You've put, with respect, quite a number of points.
We'll take the first comfort break now a bit earlier than usual, but we'll give you 15 minutes to consider the points.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.